Most women believe that masturbation is always safe. It feels private, familiar, and comforting, something as natural as taking a warm bath at night. But what if I told you that when vaginal odor changes, it can actually change the whole picture of safety? I have seen women who once felt confident and carefree during self-pleasure suddenly feel embarrassed, even worried, because odor made them question whether they were still healthy. And I have also seen women who learned to understand these changes and found not only safety, but also a new depth of comfort and pleasure. That is exactly what we are talking about today: masturbation when odor is present. We are going to uncover what kinds of odor are completely safe and which ones are warning signals that you should never ignore. Welcome back to the Female Health Podcast, where we speak honestly and compassionately about the changes that come with age. My name is Lia Parker. I am a gynecologist and intimate psychologist, and for more than 30 years I have been working with women through the quiet, personal struggles that so many of us keep to ourselves. Today we are exploring how vaginal odor changes after 60, why it matters for self-pleasure, and most importantly, how to know when it is safe and when it is not. And this is not just my opinion. According to research published in the Journal of Menopausal Medicine, shifts in estrogen after menopause change the balance of bacteria inside the vagina, and that balance is what determines whether odor stays gentle and natural or turns strong and unpleasant. So stay with me, because in a moment I will share the one type of odor that means you must stop immediately. When we are younger, vaginal odor shifts mostly with our monthly cycles, pregnancy, or even the foods we eat. But after 60, the story changes, because the body itself changes. One of the biggest shifts is estrogen. Estrogen used to keep the vaginal tissues thick, elastic, and naturally lubricated. After menopause, as estrogen levels fall, those tissues become thinner, drier, and more fragile. And this does not only affect comfort during intimacy, it also changes odor. Here is why. The healthy vagina has always relied on good bacteria, especially something called lactobacilli, to keep its environment slightly acidic. That gentle acidity is what keeps odor balanced and harmful bacteria under control. With less estrogen, lactobacilli decline, acidity fades, and the pH of the vagina rises toward neutral. That is when new odors often appear. For some women the change is subtle, a faint mustiness or an earthier scent. For others it feels dramatic, with stronger smells, irritation, or new discharge. And because these shifts happen slowly, many women assume they are simply normal aging and never mention them. But estrogen is only part of the picture. Medications, especially antibiotics or hormone-blocking treatments, can also disrupt balance. Bladder leaks that leave moisture against the skin, hours spent sitting in warm clothing, or synthetic underwear that does not breathe. All of these can add to odor. Even stress, which affects hormones and immunity, can make a difference. I once met a woman who quietly admitted she had noticed a new odor for years. She thought it was just her age, so she washed more, sprayed perfumes, and avoided intimacy. What she did not realize was that her tissues were simply too dry and fragile, and that imbalance was changing her scent. Once we treated the dryness, her confidence and her comfort returned. So while it is true that age plays a role, lifestyle and health conditions also shape how your body smells now compared to 20 years ago. And here's the important point: these changes are common, but they are not always dangerous. The real question is, when odor is present, can you safely touch yourself? That is where we are headed next. Most women want a simple answer. Is it safe to touch myself if I notice odor? And the truth is, it depends. If your odor is light, tangy, slightly musty, or even a little earthy, that is usually a natural reflection of your body's chemistry after 60. In these cases, masturbation is not only safe, it can actually help keep your tissues healthier by improving blood flow and maintaining sensitivity. But if the odor is strong, fishy, rotten, or metallic, that is your body's way of saying something is not right. And in those moments, it is not safe to continue as usual. Because what seems like a private routine can actually worsen irritation, create small tears in fragile tissue, or even aggravate an untreated infection. I remember one woman in her 70s who told me she noticed a metallic odor. She thought it was simply age, so she ignored it and kept going with her old habits of quick, direct stimulation. What she did not realize was that her tissues had become so dry that tiny spots of blood were mixing with her natural secretions. That was what created the metallic smell. By continuing the same way, she was making those micro-tears worse. Once we treated the dryness and slowed down her approach, the odor disappeared, and so did her discomfort. So here is the rule. If your odor is unusual, sudden, or paired with discharge, pain, or itching, that is a red flag. It is your body's way of saying pause, listen, and get checked before moving forward. And if you are wondering what steps to take when odor feels unsafe, keep watching, because in just a moment, we will uncover the common mistakes women make when trying to fix the problem and what you can do instead. When women notice odor, the first instinct is often to try and fix it quickly. And I completely understand why. But some of the most common responses can quietly make the problem worse. One mistake is reaching for scented sprays, powders, or special washes. These may seem like the right choice because they cover the odor for a short while. But over time, they irritate the delicate tissue and disrupt the natural balance that keeps odor in check. Many women end up in a frustrating cycle, fresh for a moment, then more odor later. Another mistake is ignoring odor altogether. I have met women who believed that odor changes were simply part of aging, so they stayed silent, even when it came with discomfort or discharge. That silence can delay treatment for simple infections, which only grow harder to manage the longer they are left alone. A third mistake is depending too much on one method of self-pleasure, especially strong devices. At first it feels reliable, but over time the nerves can grow less responsive, and gentler touch may start to feel muted. One woman told me, "It's like my body only listens to one rhythm now." When she slowly returned to variety and lighter touch, her sensitivity came back, but it took time. And then there is douching. For some women it feels like a real fix. They feel fresher afterward, and the odor seems to fade, but for others it starts a cycle. Fresh at first, then the odor returns stronger, leading to more douching and more imbalance. If you are one of the women who never falls into that cycle, it may not cause harm, but if you notice odor coming back worse, it is a sign that your body's balance is being disrupted. Each of these choices comes from the same place, the desire to feel clean, confident, and healthy. But when they backfire, they quietly make intimacy less comfortable and odor more frustrating. So what actually works? Stay with me because in just a moment, we will talk about the simple, safe steps that truly keep you fresh and comfortable. Now let us shift from what does not work to what truly supports your body. The good news is that staying fresh and safe after 60 does not require harsh products or complicated routines. It comes down to simple, gentle steps. The first and most powerful step is moisture. When estrogen levels fall, tissues become drier and more fragile, and this dryness often makes odor stronger. Using a safe vaginal moisturizer, or in some cases a low-dose vaginal estrogen, if recommended by your doctor, restores balance and reduces odor. I have seen women transform their comfort and confidence with this one change alone. The second step is choosing breathable clothing. Cotton underwear, loose skirts or trousers, and avoiding long hours in tight synthetic fabrics can make a world of difference. Sweat and trapped moisture create a breeding ground for bacteria, which can intensify odor. Giving your skin room to breathe helps the body stay balanced. Third, rethink hygiene. Many women scrub with soaps, wipes, or perfumed products in an effort to feel clean. But the vagina cleans itself. It does not need interference. All it needs is mild, unscented soap and warm water on the outside only. The less you disturb the natural balance inside, the healthier it remains. Hydration is another quiet but important step. Drinking enough water helps the body flush waste products and keeps tissues supple. Dehydration makes dryness worse, which can heighten odor and irritation. And let us not forget bladder health. Small leaks are common after 60, and when urine sits against the skin, it can create a sharp, chemical-like smell. Switching from ordinary panty liners to pads designed for leaks, or practicing pelvic floor exercises, can reduce both leaks and odor. I once had a patient who struggled with odor for years, only to discover it was from unnoticed leaks. Once she switched to the right protection, the odor eased, and her confidence returned. Stay with me another 40 seconds, because this last point may be the most important, knowing when to see your doctor. If odor changes suddenly, grows stronger, or comes with itching, burning, or discharge, do not ignore it. Getting checked means you can stop guessing, find answers, and return to comfort faster. Because what matters most is not forcing your body to smell like perfume. It is learning how to support its natural balance so you feel clean, safe, and confident in your own skin. The most important truth I want you to take from this conversation is that odor is not your enemy. It is a message. Sometimes that message is simply saying your body is balanced and healthy. Other times it is warning that something has shifted and needs care. A light, tangy, musty, or earthy scent is often normal, especially after 60. But if the odor is strong, fishy, rotten, or metallic, especially if it comes with pain, itching, or unusual discharge, that is your body's way of asking you to pause and seek help. I once met a woman who stopped going to church events because she was convinced others could smell her. She carried mints and perfume to cover her anxiety, but still kept her distance. When she finally opened up, we discovered she had bacterial vaginosis, something simple to treat. Within weeks the odor was gone, and she returned to her community with her warm, open smile. Another woman in her 70s had quietly pulled away from her husband. She loved him, but she was so self-conscious about odor and dryness that she no longer allowed him close. Together we worked on moisture and gentle local estrogen. Slowly her tissues healed, the odor eased, and she told me with tears in her eyes, "I feel like a wife again, not just a patient." So remember this circle: odor changes with age, but not all odor is harmful. Some odors are safe, some are red flags. The mistake is either ignoring them or covering them up. The safe path is to support your body with moisture, gentle hygiene, breathable clothing, hydration, and when needed, medical care. And yes, when odor is safe, masturbation remains not only safe, but beneficial for your health. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what resonated with you, or share what you wish more women knew about this topic. When you speak, you give courage to another woman who might still be holding her questions inside. And if this conversation has helped you, I invite you to subscribe. Here in our circle, we talk openly about the parts of health that too many women keep silent, because every woman deserves to feel safe, confident, and whole in her own body, no matter her age.